Hello, good evening, Oral Gibbs, and welcome to Speaking of Everything. And with me this evening, I have this young lady that was on this program the first time many, many years ago, like 15, 16 years ago. Now she's an adult. She's a businesswoman, very dynamic business lady. She's right here. So, Groeneveldt, how are you doing, ma'am?
I'm fine, thank you. Good night. How are you doing? Good night, everyone.
It's good to have you in the program, and I always tell people that you came here as a very young girl many, many years ago. You remember that time?
Can't forget it. Yes, 16 years old. I remember, yeah.
Yeah. And what, you're 22 now?
Funny. Yeah, add 10 more years.
Oh, okay. You see, some women don't like to give their age, so I
I'm
don't.
31, making 32 next month.
Okay.
Proud of it.
I have a sister-in-law. She's been 35 for 20 years. You know.
That's sad. No, don't say that.
Anyway, you're a dynamic person. The first time you came back from Holland and you've been on the show, you spoke about the work you're doing in architecture.
Yes.
Have you abandoned that?
No, that's still there, very much alive. That's my first baby.
Okay.
That's not going anywhere. But, you know, the banks aren't giving out as many loans and people aren't really building as much as before. So I had to do something else too to get that income keep coming in.
And that's what I like about you is that you're always looking to do something that's good and beneficial, and you don't get that in St. Martin too often. And just that I was reading somewhere, sometimes it's not the IQ, but it's the attitude and how you look at things, right?
Correct. I mean, for me, it has always been don't give up, keep fighting. And ever since I became a mother, that attitude has only increased to you have no choice but to keep on going.
What's been the response from people? Because what you're doing, how you approach things, many people on St. Martin don't do that.
Yes. My approach has been, wow, that's very good. I get from a lot of the older, mature generation that they are very proud of me to keep on going and such, because I keep telling them I love my country. That's one of the main reasons why I not only came back, but why I stayed an extra 6 years in Holland to get my 4 degrees, so that when I come back, I can not only be a professional in one area, but in 3 more areas as well. So it's always about the expansion of St. Martin, developing the young mindsets to be creative and not just rely on their elders or the government or whomever, but to come up with your own ideas and see what you can do.
Do you think too many people rely on government?
I have a lot of them either who rely on government or blame government or waiting for government to do something. And I'm like, government is people just like us. They listen just like us, but at the end of the day, government isn't putting the food in your mouth. You're putting the food in your mouth.
In fact, you're putting the food in government mouth.
At the end of the day, you're the one who's actively busy doing something. They're not going to be holding your hand.
Yeah.
It's more like teacher-student. The teacher is there to teach. The student is there to learn. But at the end of the day, once the teacher done their job correctly, the student can then go on and build their life.
And as a good citizen, then you will pay your taxes, and then government will be able to do more things, right?
Yeah, I believe once you do what you're supposed to do, then they do what they're supposed to do. Unfortunately, that doesn't always happen, but that still should not take away the individual from having their own self-esteem, knowing this is the right way.
So what are people saying to you? What are young people like you saying to you?
First of all, I always tell them, leave St. Martin.
What? I mean, leave St. Martin.
Yes, because here's the thing. As much as I love my country and I love it, unfortunately, when you are surrounded by support 24/7, parents, cousins, friends, everyone, your sense of identity is minimized because they have an expectation of who you should be, what you should do, as parents often do. Now, when you leave and you experience a different country, a different culture, where you can then actually have the freedom to do what you want to do, you can then form your sense of identity without having the limitations of what others often put on you. And then when you find what you have to find, you then can come back and say, this is how I can contribute to my country. Or you can contribute to your country where you are and send back the funds or whatnot. You don't always have to come back here to be able to contribute to St. Martin.
But then people say, but look, you're here.
Because I went away and I learned what I had to learn and I came back. My choice was what I need to do, I have to be here to do it. And others don't have to, but me, I made a personal choice for the development of St. Martin and the ideas that I have for my country. I need to make sure be here so that they can be properly executed.
But I think the point I'm trying to get at, how do you justify telling people that they got to leave? Because there are people who've remained here and they've been pretty successful, haven't gone anywhere.
No, it has nothing to do with their success. I didn't mean it in a sense of success. What I mean is in a sense of an identity. Very often, you're going to see it. You very often live your life according to how, you know, you want to please your parents, you want to please your teachers, you want to please your community, that kind of stuff. And unfortunately, sometimes we're not always accepted for who we are, so we then turn into what they want us to be. But imagine having the freedom of going somewhere else and actually being able to know who you are and then say, this is how I can contribute back to my country because now I know who I am. And because I went away, it didn't have to be Holland, it could have been anywhere else, but in the sense of going somewhere where you can make mistakes without people judging you because they know your mother, they know your father, whomever. But being able to go away and say, okay, so let me try this, let me do this, let me experience that. I will fall, I will get up, make mistakes, but all of that is a life lesson that you have to learn. And then you come back. Some people don't get to go away. That doesn't take away from the fact of their identity. If you can, fine. But if you can't, please try and still form some sense of identity while you are still living here without others influencing you.
Well, I've heard that a number of youngsters from St. Martin that have gone to Europe to study, that they can't even get around, that they don't even know how to use the mass transit, and they're struggling and everything else. And I'm surprised because in St. Martin, they were the ones that out in the street hanging out all over, and other children that never hang out all over the streets like they did are in Holland, and they're moving around and can get around very well. And the ones that were here and thought they could move around, now they're there and they're stuck, they can't even function.
Well, you see, here's the thing. St. Martin, I always say it very often, doesn't prepare the young people properly for the real life where they are going to live.
Because we are parents' responsibility.
It's a two-way thing. It's a community, it's a teacher, it's a parent. Once they all work together the correct way, that student will be properly prepared to handle the outside world, which is not St. Martin. But once something is off, then that child has a disadvantage than the others. If that child never learned how to budget, if that child never learned how to wash their own clothes because mommy always did it for them, if that child never cooked, cleaned, and you are going to send this child on their own in another country and you are not there and expect them to not freak out, panic, and turn right back and come back home, that's not possible.
And that's what's happening to a lot of St. Martin children now.
Because unfortunately, or they were not properly prepared for the realistic life in Holland or anywhere else that has that kind of public transportation and that high level of responsibility as an individual on your own and not, hey ma, I need $1.
So tell me, when you went to Holland, did we have Skype at the time?
We had Skype at the time,
but
yes.
not as popular as it is today, right?
No, it wasn't as popular. MSN Messenger was more popular back then, yeah.
And when you was in Holland, you had the opportunity to call back home to your mother often and everything and so forth?
Yeah, she also got this telephone company that you can then call in Holland or European, you know, I think it's called Magic Jack or something like
Magic
that.
Jack.
But it's a different form of Magic Jack that you can call the European numbers. Once it's a European, so that was more affordable than the regular telephone call. So yeah, we spoke very often and also on the internet,
Key point. And I'll tell you why. You know, I realized that most of the young people that I speak with who went to Holland or in Holland, and if they said what you just said in terms of speaking often with their parents, they have less problems.
That support, I must say, 100% that you need when you are in another man's country. And for some of the children who has never been there before, it's a bigger shock than those who got the opportunity to visit. So that support is needed because when you reach in that country, especially a fast-paced location, they don't stop and ask how you're doing. You got to keep going. And if you're used to our island mentality of taking your time, relaxing, when you go there, that's another culture shock besides the language.
So they ever invite you to speak to youngsters before they go to Holland?
No, because I never put myself in that position to do so, because at the time I was busy trying to see exactly how I wanted to do it, in what way, shape, or form. I didn't want to just speak to the youngsters. I wanted them to go through probably a course or a workshop or something like that, because the speaking is not what they need. They need the practice. They need the physical interaction of learning how to live on your own without your parents.
So now that you're back, and you said, how many years now again that you're back?
I came back since 2012, 2015, so 3 years.
Time goes so fast, man.
Yes.
It's like you've been here like for like 5, 6
forever.
years.
No, 3 years, yes.
You enjoying it?
I am. It's definitely a learning process.
You know, sometimes I listen to you, and the other day I was driving, I heard you on the radio, you know, and I was saying, what I like about you is that you never give up. You're always looking for an opportunity, and this is something that most of our people in St. Martin don't do.
Yes, it's not easy, but you have to have that drive in you. I'm a believer, and I definitely need God's help in a spiritual sense to keep me focused on what my goal is, because once you know what your goal is, no matter what happens, you have something to hold on to.
So now, goals. Are you working towards more goals, or where you are, you're satisfied?
No, my goals definitely, ever since I periodically had my little experience in politics, I always said I want to create minimum 50 jobs for St. Martin, and not no 6-month contract, 3-month contract nonsense, but the real deal. So I'm definitely working towards a company in the sense of something that St. Martin needs, that will provide minimum 50 jobs on a long term, whether you have the education or not. It's about, do you have the will? Do you want to work? Then we can use you.
Now that you mentioned, you had a stint in politics, that's correct. How was that experience?
It was an experience. I've definitely learned a lot, you know, being on a party and being able to see the response from the public on their, and listen to them on their issues and what they find important and everything like that. But everything I've done, I've learned from, and I will definitely apply in my future businesses to create more, definitely not temporary jobs for my country, so that we can have something else other than tourism to bring the tourists here.
But going into politics, was it what you expected?
I had no expectations. For me, in situations like this, where I never had any experience in, I try to go with a blank slate.
What surprised you?
What surprised me was, I must say, how everyone was on the same page, which was they want a better St. Martin. They had their own directions in which way they wanted to better it, but they were on the same page. We want a better St. Martin. We want the people of St. Martin to prosper, and we want our country and our nation and our island to grow into what it should be.
What party was run?
National Alliance.
Did you get people asking you for money in order to vote for them?
No, because I was a new candidate who never, ever, ever been in any political party.
People never said to you, Ms Groeneveldt, you know, I will vote for you, but you got to give me something.
No, because they didn't know who I was.
Really?
I think if they knew who I was, or they were more familiar with me, they were more on, let me hear what she have to say.
So they didn't know you was a millionaire?
No. No clue.
Wow.
I don't know if the others got that, but I didn't get that.
That's amazing.
They just really, for me, when I had my platform, I didn't want to speak about, oh, what this person isn't doing, what this person said. I didn't want to badmouth. I wanted to go there in a different way. I wanted to encourage, and I wanted to let the people know that you have the power.
I know that's not the question. I ask you is if the voters ever came to you and offer you their vote for money.
No, But that's what I'm telling you. When they came to me.
And there's no, right. So we going to leave that other part out with the bad one. That's the thing is that I'm so surprised because I've never met a candidate, someone who run for political office in St. Martin, who've never experienced that. That is really surprising. It's just pretty unique.
So you see?
So we're changing that. Our voters are becoming more mature, and they're not asking for financial contribution in order for you to receive their vote.
Yeah, never got that.
Right. So, but would you do it again?
When I'm more prepared, I will.
Okay. So have you made your first 1 million?
I've made the plans for my 1 million.
And then what?
And then on to my 2nd million.
Okay. So, see, like, do you like count every month and make sure how far you're from $1 million?
No. Cute.
You know why I asked you that question? Because I speak to a lot of people, and I speak to people who've been very successful, and I ask them all the time, do you remember when you made your first million? And all of them tell me, no. It's just one day they realize, wow, but I made it, but they never really, because, well, that's the time, that's when I got it.
Oh, no, I will remember that when that happens. Oh, yeah.
You're like Oprah.
Oh, when that happens, I work so hard for that trust. I would frame the date on my wall. Are you kidding? My first million, right there.
You make me laugh because the only person that I know it's like Oprah Winfrey. It's just like sitting there counting this. It's amazing.
Because what hard work pays off, and it's nothing like achieving a goal that you always wanted, and then you move on to your next goal.
Well, I hope I'm around when that day comes for you, that I can have you back here, and then I'll see if you're really honest and you tell me when you realize it or you missed it and you didn't realize that you attained it.
I'll have the $1 million frame right here. Say, Oral, look at here, the $1 million.
So you have an online shoe business now?
Well, here's the thing. I am the first shoe consultant on St. Martin.
Shoe consultant?
Yes.
Now, explain me that one.
Okay. When you purchase a shoe, it's not just about the shoe. You have to wonder, do you have back problems? Do you have knee problems? Ankle problems? Is your body aligned properly?
Yeah.
What kind of job are you doing in order to get the best shoes for you? Are you heavy set? Are you thin? This all is very important when it comes to choosing the proper kind of shoes. So I said, you know what? I'm going to be a shoe consultant and not just a shoe salesperson. A shoe salesperson just wants to get rid of the shoes. A shoe consultant sits with you, asks you a few routine questions, and makes sure that you have the correct shoe for your body type and for your purpose of said shoe.
Wow. I mean, I didn't realize, listening to you, it makes a lot of sense.
Unfortunately, or a lot of people are in the wrong pair of shoes, and it always hurts my heart when I see 85% of my plus size clients who are wide width. There's a big problem with wide width feet on St. Martin. They do not have enough wide width shoes for St. Martin. As a matter of fact, the Caribbean. So they squeeze their feet inside of these tight shoes. You ever heard of calluses? You ever heard of gangrene? You ever heard of poor blood circulation? All of these problems are because you're in the wrong pair of shoes.
So but you cater to men and women or just women?
Men, women, and children. It starts with the children.
So they come to you and they ask you, how they get to know what you're doing?
Well, first of all, I'm on the radio. Like you said, you would hear me on the radio. Yeah. Twice a month, I write an article in the Daily Herald in the Health and Beauty as my community service to the Caribbean on the proper foot care. As a matter of fact, tomorrow, Tuesday, the other one is coming out. And this is my attempt to help the educational part of this is what you should be doing. Pay more attention. I joined together with some schools this year so that we can sell them the proper footwear for the students because, a lot of the young people are overweight and they're not moving properly. Most of the time, if they are in the wrong pair of shoes, that's not going to motivate them to move either. Yeah. So why not start small? Instead of buying back problem prevention, knee problem prevention, creams and ointments to fix the problem, why not prevent the problem in the first place? Everyone always pays very keen attention to the adults when the problem is there. But what about with the young people and actually trying to prevent the problem from happening in the first place? So my focus on the young people for prevention and on the older generation who has those problems, minimizing such pain by putting them in the proper shoes that support their arch, their heel, and where their toes are.
You know, your mother got to be very proud of you, man. You know why I say that? Because I would be.
Aww.
You know, to see what you're doing, and when I look around this island and I see some people and how the throwaway opportunity and what you do, I mean, it's just incredible. I really got to admire you for that.
Thank you.
And I hope that you don't stop. And I don't think you're going to stop because you have this drive that is just incredible.
Well, I definitely am helped by the people who are surrounding me, my fellow entrepreneurs. As a matter of fact, I love network marketing. I always promote that because guess what? If you have an apple and I have an orange, why would I spend money for an apple when you have one?
Right.
We can just give it a trade. We both have equal opportunity without spending money. So I have some friends, like for instance, my makeup, my friend Michelle, awesome. She's from Glamity and she started her own makeup line in St. Martin.
Yeah.
So that's an amazing something. So I said, you know what? I need some assistance. Can you hook me up? And instead of spending money to go to a makeup artist, whatever, I'm like, you know, you're going to do something for me. And one day I help her out with some shoes.
And when she have a client over, she tell them, well, go buy you for shoes, right?
Exactly. That's what I mean with the apples and oranges thing. You know, I have my photographer, my graphic designer. These are all, unfortunately, Oral, I get so many interactions with entrepreneurs who just don't have that opportunity like me, because we don't have that particular last name or whatnot. But at the end of the day, if we all join together, I even want to make some kind of entrepreneurial support group to encourage us, because guess what, Oral? It's the entrepreneurs who create the jobs.
Well, what's the last name? You said you need a special last name here?
No, I want to start a support group for entrepreneurs.
No, because when you said that you don't have that last name,
Oh, and that's, yeah, because in my case, it's always who you be, who your mother is, who your father is. When you're looking for some kind of support or some kind of sponsorship or whatever it is, I've encountered that many times in the many things that
you can't get away from that.
That's it. So what do you do when you don't have that? Do you just stay there, or do you have to be creative and figure it out?
Tell me, Ms Groeneveldt, you're doing the shoe thing, you're doing architectural work, you went into politics. What else are you doing?
Well, for now, I am focusing on rebranding my company.
Rebranded. Yes. I like that name.
Because what I realize is that the Caribbean islands also have issues with their shoes. They can't find them. So I'm like, hey, you know what? America kind of excludes us with certain products and items that we cannot get because we don't have that credit card, we don't have that Miami address, yada, yada, yada. So what if we have something that only the Caribbean has access to, and then we don't need America for shoes? So I'm busy in the development process of rebranding so that not only St. Martin can benefit from my consultation, advice, and also footwear, but that the rest of the Caribbean can also.
Do you get a lot of clients that don't have a credit card?
Here's the best part. I do. So now those clients don't have that headache about credit card because they can pay cash because I'm right here. If they have a question, they pay me for my consultation fee and I'm right here. If they want to call, they can. It's a local number and I'm right here. So that benefit that they have with me, they often sometimes my consultation lasts for more than an hour because they have so many questions about their feet that they never got to ask.
You don't charge for a consultation?
$30.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And then I tell them, you know what? Ask your questions because you never got the chance to. A shoe consultant, Oral, is a combination of a podiatrist, a masseuse, a doctor, you name it. So when I give my advice, I've been studying it for the past 2 years. I have 8 more years to go. So when I'm done, they have more questions than they thought they would have.
So then your consultation will be $90 at that time when you finish.
I
Right?
will be training other consultants so
Wow.
that they can then have their own opportunity to be their own boss.
See what they can't stop you, man. You're moving on. Well, Ms Groeneveldt, oh, thank you for coming. Success.
Thank you so much for having me, and if anybody has any questions, they can always contact you and they can get to me.
And what's your number?
Oh, they can get me at 5866299, or I have to say it proper, 5866299, or they can just check out my Facebook page at Shoe Solution SXM.
And I'll send you an invoice for that.
Sounds good.
All right. Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
That's it for now. See you next time. Until then, good night. Take care. Bye.